Welcome to the RD2BE podcast. Each week we sit down with a different registered dietitian nutritionist to showcase the diversity of opportunity in the dietetics profession. Our aim is to dismantle the notion that there is a traditional career path. I'm Carl Barnes, the registered dietitian behind the scenes of RD2BE.
And I am Jenna Warnock, the RD2BE host. Our RD guests share their stories, career paths, and advice to help students like us succeed in the profession. Welcome back to another week of the RD2BE podcast. We are super stoked and excited to feature yet another dietetic internship program. And this week we're going to be sitting down with Dr. Sherry Foret. She is the Director of Dietetic Graduate Studies at Nicholls State University. She's going to have a presentation with us, so we highly recommend you refer to our video on YouTube if you want to get the full experience with reading the information on the slides. But yeah, just thank you so much for joining us and talking about your program, Dr. Foret.
Oh, thank you, Jenna. Thanks for having me. So I'd like to say, come to Nicholls and immerse yourself in the Bayou culture, where our seasons are football, Mardi Gras, crawfish, and snowballs. Just a little description of our program. We are fully accredited with the SIN, the accreditation agency. Our program is 1 year long. We participate in the spring match. We accept 14 interns per year. It is a full-time program, and we have a clinical focus with about 600 hours clinical. Or, well, 500 to 600 hours clinical. Our clinical focuses on acute care and critical care, oncology, bariatrics, renal, boot camp preparation. We do that before rotations begin, before the students participate in the clinical rotation. Our food service includes hospital food service, school food service, and a theme meal that meets most of the competencies for food service. Our community includes cooperative extension, public health, and Mom's Pantry, which is a program here on campus to help students who have needs with accessing food. The interns will create recipes for the pantry, and students can access the pantry and get food when they need it, whatever food they might need that would be in the pantry, along with some recipes. And LCA is Little Colonel's Academy. It's a daycare on campus, and interns get to go and teach the kids about healthy eating, and they usually are really excited about it. Kids love it. So what we offer here at Nicholls that's something different than a lot of programs is that our clinical instructor goes with the interns into the hospital facilities. So you have a teacher with you, whereas you don't have to depend on the preceptor who might be really busy with patient care to teach you. So the clinical instructor takes care of that and takes the pressure off the preceptors. Our faculty and preceptors do provide mentorship. They often say when you come to their facility, they are it's a year-long job interview. So, and our interns do get hired at the facilities where they do rotations. We've recently begun the master's program in fall of 2022. So now we have that to offer, and our internship courses count toward the master's degree. And we also provide RD exam prep. We have a study course that the interns participate in year-round. So why be a colonel? Here at Nicholls, you're not just a number. We have a small class size. Our university's small. We get to know our students. We have a low cost for attending. In fact, our tuition is the lowest in the state of Louisiana. We provide a quality education, and we're close to the action. We're only about an hour and 45 minutes from Lafayette, it's a big city, and about an hour from New Orleans, and about an hour from Baton Rouge. So we're kind of right smack in the middle of all the action. Our interns frequently say they love it here because they have good food and lifelong friends. This is some of the comments that we've had from our past interns. Amanda says she, loved having the DI instructor, and the preceptors coordinator all supported her and prepared her for success. Claire said she chose Nicholls because she felt confident and prepared for her exams throughout the job application process. Jigna came from California to come here. We've had a few from California. The program offers a variety of learning experiences and in-person clinical and community and food service experiences. So, and that was Paige from one of our classes. All right. So to contact us, this is my contact information, sherry.foret@nichols.edu. Our clinical instructor is Katie. So katie.vidros@nichols.edu. We do have our website, nichols.edu, and our Facebook page, Nicholls DI. And we have some information to come soon on the master's degree on our Facebook page as well. So come to Nicholls.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing like that super nice, short and sweet presentation about your program, Dr. Foret. And so before we, kind of expand on the stuff that you mentioned about your program, can we first provide some context to just what led you to your role to be the director of this program?
Well, Jenna, I have 16 years of experience, of clinical experience in the field, and I've always wanted to be a teacher. Of course, I didn't want to do that till I retired, but we had an unexpected turn of events and I came here sooner. I started my job here in 2013. And then we realized we need an internship here. We need to supply this area with dietitians. We had a need for it. So we started the process of writing the proposal for the internship, which we started in 2017. And of course, the master's degree is now required. So shortly after that, we had started the process of I had to go back to school. I didn't have a doctorate, my colleagues didn't. So we all started going back to school, getting our degrees. And so we wrote a proposal and started the master's program, which began in 2020. So in 2017 is when I became the DI coordinator. It wasn't a lifelong goal of mine. It's just the way it worked out, and it was a happy accident because I love my job and I love what I do.
Oh yeah, and that's awesome. And so then, if I'm not mistaken, that means that you are one of the founders and the creators of this program.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's really just like an awesome thing to note because you've been here since the conception of the program and that you've really put your best foot forward and your heart into what you believe was best for future dietitians, which I think is really great. And also super admirable that you're able to accept a good chunk of, yes, that smaller class size, but still not those 2-4 per year class sizes, but 14 students each year. And so given that you guys started in 2020, about how many students do apply to your program, and then how many of the 14 out of the 14 do you accept?
Well, we started our internship in 2017. We have anywhere from 14 to 40 apply each year. And I know the numbers kind of have dwindled in the past few years, but I think that's nationwide. Lots of programs have seen a drop in the applications. I think though this year our applications are up, and I think it has because of the master's program, because we now can offer that too. And I think that students prefer to have a one-stop shop where they can do it. Typically though, the past few years, we've accepted about 10 in our program or matched with 10. We do have a pre-select option for Nicholls students and graduates, and we've typically taken around 5 of those. So it's worked out though. We've been fortunate to have a pretty good class size every year.
With that master's degree, you say that your program has a clinical focus. So does the master's degree also incorporate that clinical focus?
Yes, our master's degree is actually clinical nutrition and dietetics leadership. That's the title of our master's degree.
Oh, awesome. So you just get that really great, robust experience in all aspects of what you might experience as a dietitian in that clinical setting. And so you guys have gone through, since that 2017, just the changes and adapting and getting all that approval and proposals from Ascend to have your dietetic internship. And so just for people listening with, 2024 and beyond, do you believe that you guys will be sticking with the current format that you have moving forward?
Yes, we actually just changed the format to where the program is a coordinated master's and DI, so you can actually do the whole program and finish with your internship, supervised practice hours, and your master's degree in 1 year.
Yeah, and that's crazy. And so, like, given how condensed that master's degree and dietetic internship component is, how does the graduate coursework intertwine with that supervised practice? So, like, what does the year look like for the student?
Well, the supervised practice courses count toward the master's degree, and that's what helps because it's 6 hours per semester toward the graduate degree. So the intern if you take 12 hours, our program is 36 hours total. So if you take 12 hours in the summer, 12 in the fall, with half of that being the supervised practice, and 12 in the spring, you have your 36 hours.
Yeah, awesome. And so with that, just, rigor of having that combination of the supervised practice while you're taking the courses, one clarification question, are all of the graduate coursework, are all of them in person?
No, all of the graduate coursework's online, 100% online. The only thing in person is supervised practice.
Awesome. So that just gives that really great sense of flexibility for the students so that they don't have to stress about being in person for the supervised practice while also being in person for the graduate coursework. It's a really great way that you guys help support your students. And so speaking of that support, you did talk about like that RD exam prep, that online graduate coursework component, but what other ways do you support your students throughout the program?
Well, we listen to our students when interns tell me, we really like this supervised practice, or we would like to see, you know, I don't know, pediatrics. Sometimes things are hard to get, rotation sites, but we try to, at least if we can't get a rotation there, at least a field trip so they can see it and experience it. Or we may set a student up with a preceptor who's maybe doesn't want to take everyone, but could take that one because they want that specialty experience, like pediatrics or eating disorders. So we do have a good pool of preceptors who support our program.
Yeah, and just kind of emphasizing that communication aspect where if you want a specific thing from the program to, not hesitate to communicate with you guys or the preceptors so that you can tailor the program really to your needs. And it's really great how like it should, like, you've shown in the past with those field trips or with communicating with those preceptors that the interns do get that individualized experience that they really want, which is really awesome.
Another way too is that because of the master's requirement and that our program is one program, we have changed our requirements for hours because of SIN dropped it to 1,000. We've also done that so that students can have a day or maybe 2 days to work on coursework on some weeks. Some weeks are 40 weeks, some weeks are 32, some weeks are 24. So it's flexible in that way too.
Oh, yeah, and that's really great. And one thing that did remind me to ask is a lot of programs, given that with the graduate degree component, some of them do have that in-state tuition, out-of-state tuition, difference. But for your program, do you guys have a flat rate or do you have an in-state for Louisiana residents? And how does that work?
We have a flat rate because our program is online. Because our master's courses are online, students do not pay out-of-state tuition for those courses.
Yeah, and I'm sure that really helps with the affordability of the program, which is really, really great. And on the testimonial page, you had one student, and you did mention a couple of other interns came from California. And so given that your program is based in Louisiana, are most of your students from Louisiana, or do you get a diverse bunch of interns from different places?
Most of them right now from Louisiana, I'd say the last couple of years, but in the past, we've only been open 5 years. So the first 3 years, we've had students from Ohio, California, Nebraska, Nevada. They've come from all over the place, which
Awesome.
is exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Because like, especially if you have a diverse little cohort, you have a bunch of different perspectives, ideas. And I know like with what they mentioned about the Louisiana food, if they haven't experienced Louisiana culture yet, like that's definitely like a really interesting way to immerse yourself in that type of culture, which is super awesome. And yeah, so you kind of mentioned things that interns really liked about the program with the preceptors and just the culture, the experience, immersing themselves, and the really great support that you guys offer. And I mean, I'm sure one thing that you're proud of is just the fact that you helped create, like you created this program. But is there given that you've seen this program in effect for the past couple of years, is there a certain thing that you're most proud of regarding the program?
Well, I think I'm most proud of that our preceptors tell me that our students are better prepared than students from other programs in Louisiana. So that's really, and they're willing to hire our students.
Yeah, like and really that just speaks for itself, because the purpose of the dietetic internship is to create entry-level dietitians. And if those sites that are just having the intern and not even, the dietitian yet, but they can see that potential in that student already from the get-go, that's a really great thing that your program has, and how you're able to foster professionals before they're even full-on professionals, which is really, really great.
It's something that I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, and I mean, I absolutely don't blame you, because that's amazing. And that actually made me think of whenever you're selecting students for your program, you mentioned that common theme of seeing students be ready for those sites as a worker, and you have those sites that want to hire your interns. And so whenever you have students apply to your program, are there certain things that you're looking for that you can kind of like see as a great potential for a future dietitian?
We just look for a well-rounded student. They don't have to be, I guess, a 4.0. We just look at the whole student and their experiences, their volunteer or work experience. We do the interview, we ask them specific questions of what we're looking for. So it's, we just look for someone who's well-rounded.
Yeah, and that's a really great thing that I feel like, a lot of programs do look for is, hey, do you fit with our program? And like, do you align with, like if you're interested in clinical, I'm sure that this is a great program that you can use to align your goals with. And just making sure that, and from what I've gotten from you, it's like, don't pretend to be someone that you're not. Like, if you want to apply to the program, for sure, apply to the program, but make sure that it's one that you genuinely want to do, because you'll get the most out of it. And then, you'll get the most out of it as an internship director, because you see them prepping and getting offers, like job offers to the sites that they're at, which is really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the last question that we have that kind of, goes back to preparing for the dietetic internship, and, like they're listening to your program and they're like, oh my gosh, during the next match cycle, I absolutely want to apply to your program. And so for you as an internship director, is there any advice you would give students applying for supervised practices in the future?
Yeah, something I guess I see the students struggle, even our undergraduates struggle with where to go, where will I get the best experience? And a lot of times I find that students will look for a certain specialty, like they'll ask you questions about, specialty. I get a lot of questions about do you do a distance program? I'm sure the distance programs are great. I just feel like it's difficult to run that kind of program. I'd rather have you here, and where you can easily, communicate, and we can, get together and that kind of thing. And as far as the students looking for specialties, sometimes you want to get a varied experience wherever you're going. Wherever you're going to do supervised practice, you want to get that varied experience, because I've seen many students change their mind about what kind of dietitian they want to be after they finish supervised practice. Some of them say, oh, I don't want to do clinical, I'll never do clinical, and they're doing clinical and they love it. Or, I don't want to do food service, and they're doing food service and they love it. So you just don't know till you do that supervised practice. So you want to pick a place that can give you a variety, a good variety of supervised practice sites, rotations.
Yeah, for sure. And going in with that open mind. And I think that that's a really great thing to end on, just because, the world really is your oyster as a dietetic student, and taking the opportunity of those supervised practice sites and those internships, or, got FEMs, DI, all the abbreviations, whichever one you choose.
Right.
Yeah. And just, treating it as a great learning opportunity for just that little, really, it's like a microsecond of your life to just soak up as much as you can. So yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Foret, for talking about your awesome program. And we're super excited to just see what it looks like with the 2024 changes and the wonderful interns and, soon to be dietitians that'll be out of it. So yeah, thank you so much for featuring your program.
Thank you for having me, Jenna.